Hello everyone, this is Diane and I have a fun new journal to share with you today. This journal will be in my Etsy shop and it has a kind of a 1950s vibe to it, and it's called Home because I thought that just looked nice with, that word looked nice with this cover. This is a 1950s homemaker. I think she's writing recipes or something, but I thought it looked like she could be journaling, so I thought that was a good picture to put on the front of a journal. I punched these circles out of 1950s style prints from, I think they're Stampin' Up! Papers, and it was a homemaker's set of papers, which I have like 2 sets of that paper, so I'm going to make books with it one of these days. And I put rickrack on it because that's a 1950s kind of trim. This was a plain blue book. It's this color, kind of a royal blue, and I wanted to tone it down a little bit. And since it wasn't a decorated cover, it's not an old book, it gave me a chance to play around with some mixed media. So I put some gesso on it to tone down the blue a little bit, and then stenciled some turquoise blue and some gold paint there. And there's fabric on the spine and eyelet lace covering the stitches. And here's the back. You can see more of the stenciling here. There's more rickrack. And it says uniquely handmade, limited edition. And then to decorate the spine, I glued on a couple of these little blue rosettes with some blue seam binding. This blue, it was in a skein. Somebody sent it to me, so I guess you can crochet with it. But it's like a kind of like a knit fabric, just cut in very thin strips, and the red fiber. And let's just look inside. There are 3 signatures here. The inside was this gold paper, so I left it. And I just now finished stamping on the cards to put in here, and I can't believe what a mess I make just stamping a few things, and it won't wash off. So I have blue and black ink on my fingers. Okay, anyway, I have just an assortment of papers in here, and if you really want to know what paper line some of these are from, you can ask me in the comments. This is something I printed from the internet a long time ago. I probably found it on Pinterest. It's been in my stash for a while. So that's a pocket there. And the main images in this book came from a vintage Avon book, not an Avon catalog. It was an actual book that you could, I don't know if you had to purchase it or if it was given away. And it looked like it was from the 1950s. I don't know the exact date, but the images they look 1950s. And it was all about how to do your makeup and take care of your hair and your skin and your nails, and it was a section on men and teens and even babies. So I cut up that book, and there's a lot of it in here. And this is part of it, and it has a daily and a weekly checklist for some of your grooming, such as daily 100 strokes with the hairbrush, twice a day toothbrushing, antiseptic and mouthwash. So I thought that was interesting, and it's got just plain white paper. There's no coffee dyed paper in here. There is some stenciling. And this is a pocket with some of this little fringy trim from Hobby Lobby. Here's an image from the Avon book. Lady soaking in her, Skin So Soft. Remember the Skin So Soft from Avon? And there's a ledger piece in here for journaling. There's some stenciling here. And here, and it says it's a fantastic day to be fabulous. This is vintage ledger, but it's not the old yellowed kind. It's kind of a brighter color, so it goes well with this 50s book. And here's one of the images on some doilies, and then this shows how to put on lipstick. And there's a little piece of pink rickrack and some blue striped paper on the back. This could actually be journaled on. I figured it could be used as lines. And there's a bingo card in here. Some stenciling. Here's one of the pages from the book, and it shows the woman brushing her hair. It's sideways, so it goes like that. And there's some little snippets of fabric stitched here with a little piece of trim and some pretty lace that I just received in a swap from Beth Wallen. Thank you, Beth. I already put some of your trims to work. And this is just a pretty card that I glued on here for journaling. Here's one of the images from the Avon book, and I put this little embellishment on that says "She Said," and a little couple of pieces here and a tab that I made with my Stampin' Up! Tab punch. There's some vintage grid paper, vintage ledger, vintage music paper, and this is the center of the signature. And here is a gridded index card that says "Life itself is a wonderful adventure." And then on this side of the Avon paper, I put a picture of a man from the men's section, and I put on this piece that says "He Said." Little pieces of grid paper so you can journal, and a little arrow. Some more stenciling. And here's another piece of the trim, and another card, and a butterfly. Some stenciling. This I also got from the internet, and I've had it in my stash for a while. I backed it with some of this pretty green paper and stitched on this trim, this ruffled fabric trim from Hobby Lobby, and this is a piece of velveteen ribbon. Some blue or green, mint green doily up here, and there's some tassely, fringy trim up there. Some more fabric pieces and a little piece of trim. Stenciling. Another pocket with that fringy trim. This is from the internet, again in my stash. And this is from the Avon book. A man using two hands, two hairbrushes to brush his hair. And there's ledger on the back and plain paper on the back of those for stenciling. All of the pieces that I stuck in as cards from the book and from the internet have plain paper or ledger paper or something stitched on the back for journaling. Excuse me for bumping the camera. This is a little image that I got from a book. It's a vintage image, but it was a modern book that used captions, and she says, "Let the games begin." And here's a lady from the Avon book, and a piece of that velveteen ribbon, pink rickrack, and some grid paper on the back. This is just a scrap that I had with typewriters on it, and all I did was round the corner and stitch it on. Some glasses stitched on that card, and this says "Enjoy the little things," and there's days of the week on the back for journaling. This is the second signature. Pocket there with some trim. I thought that looked like a 50s design, a ribbon. There's a lady with a piece of the velveteen ribbon and a piece of lace. And this is a card, a tag I made with my Cricut. These ladies look like they're on a 50s sewing pattern. It's a stamp that I have. Some more stenciling, ledger paper. This tag or card I made from an image from the magazine, or the Avon book. This came out of a magazine, and it's a picture of a vintage Woman's Day magazine. Some more stenciling. This lady has rickrack here and a tab and some fabric and trim. This is a little glassine bag, and since there's a hand here on this paper, I put this image of hands and a little piece of vintage ledger behind them. And there's this little tag that I made with my Cricut, and then this came from the Avon book, and it says "Beauty Hints for Hands. There's no such thing as an ugly hand if it is cared for and well groomed." So I tucked that in there. There's a lady, looks like she's drying her hair. Step 2, stimulation for all types of hair. I left some of the wording here because it's kind of interesting to read. You could definitely cover it with pictures or a piece of paper for journaling on. More music paper. That's where the blue ink came from that's on my hands. Delight in Little Things. This is a flip up here. I think I had one in this section and didn't show it to you, but it's there, I think. I think there's one in each signature. Here's another image with another piece of that lace from Beth and the velveteen ribbon. More of that gathered trim in the ribbon. Stenciling, more stenciling, some trim up here, vintage ledger. Another pocket with that polka dot ribbon. And there's a lady putting on her lipstick with her pinky. And this one is trying on glasses. This one, I believe, is either applying foundation or washing it off. There was a section on how to do your foundation. This is from another book that I had. I just cut these people out. They look like they're from the 50s. Probably not. They're probably later than that. Maybe even the 70s. But they look vintage, so I put them there and put them on as a pocket. And it says, do what you love what you do. And there's a man shaving. This is the image that was in the Avon book. I didn't cut his face in half. That's how it was. And there's an argyle ribbon there. Some more fabric and lace. There's a lady putting on her mascara, and this says today. Grooming is personal good housekeeping, a combination of fastidiousness and efficiency. And then it says, first, the daily bath. So I guess you get instructions on taking a bath. This is from a magazine, and this is about a new washing machine. And I stitched it onto this fabric with a little trim and a couple of journaling cards in here. This one is a page about hand and nail care. Typewriter. Another image of an Old Woman's Day magazine. Laugh, play, share. Here's another flip up here for journaling. And a lady with her glasses on and some fibers. This lovely lady. I'm not sure what she's doing, but she's looking in the mirror, playing with her hair. There's a piece of lace there and some ledger on the back. I love this owl fabric, and I thought he looked like he belonged in the 50s. So there's some fabric and some trim and some lace here. So this was a really fun book to make. I enjoyed it very much. I've had that Avon book for a while. I'm glad I finally got around to using it. This is about putting on your foundation. And I just put this piece on the back, not for journaling, but because it's so pretty, and that image can just be in there for decoration. There's a to-do list. There's this lovely lady with a crown. This did not come from the Avon book. And a tag in there. And this is actual from a vintage magazine. And this was some sort of a shelf liner they were advertising. And you would adhere this somehow to the front edge of your shelf to make your shelves decorative. So I glued it to a library pocket and put a couple of these gridded cards in here. And it has my signature here. And I think I showed you the back already. So as I said, this will be in my Etsy shop. Thank you so much for looking. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment and come visit my shop. I'll leave a link below. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.